Tonight, I want to talk to you about dangerous advice. You heard me correctly.
A lot of people are saying, cut up your credit cards. I think that's really ridiculous because a credit card is not the problem. In fact, I love my credit cards.
Some people aren't paying their credit cards off correctly because they don't know the difference between a statement closing date and a balance due date.
If you're watching this and you're not earning points on every dollar you spend, you are financing my points.
Credit cards can most definitely be dangerous if you don't know how to use them properly. In this video, we're going to show you all some of the best advice we've seen. Let's get right into it.
Most people who start out using credit cards, they don't think they're going to be the person $30,000 in debt.
No one does. I'm going to intentionally go deeply in debt at 22% and then wonder why I'm broke. No one says that. You're right.
Do you know how many credit cards you're supposed to have? I'm Vivian, your rich BFF and your favorite Wall Street girly who's here to tell you it's probably more than you think. Hey Viv, you're good with money. I should only have one credit card, right? No. Wait, what? I was always told to just have one. So credit is very personal and it's up to each person, but typically the sweet spot is 3 to 5 credit cards. Why so many? Well, typically 3 to 5 cards helps to increase your total credit limit, which means you'll have an easier time building your credit score. Your credit score takes into account credit utilization, aka how much of your credit lines you use. And if you only have one card, you may have a hard time keeping your usage less than 30%, the ideal amount, if the card has a low limit. Oh, that makes sense. What about having 6 or 7 credit cards? Wouldn't that be even better? Nah, because at that point you have so many lines of credit, lenders see you as a bigger risk. Makes sense. Thanks. You're welcome.
If you're going to be financially intelligent today, you have to know there's good debt and bad debt. And simply put, good debt makes you rich and bad debt makes you poor.
The easiest way to get out of credit card debt is always pay more than the minimum payment due. You know how you get this bill, you went out and you charged $1,000 worth of stuff, and all they're asking you to pay is for the very first time, let's just say $20 or $30 on that $1,000. And you go, okay. And you pay that. And then the next bill comes in and all they want you to do is pay $18. Every time you start paying down credit card debt, the credit card companies decrease the minimum payment that's due. If you stay at the original amount, that $20 that you paid, and you keep paying that original amount of money rather than decreasing to the minimum payment due, you will get out of credit card debt so fast I cannot even tell you.
So Brian, the first thing I wanted to ask you is, what do you think are the biggest misconceptions around points and travel hacking and credit cards?
I think the biggest misconception about points is that you need to be a frequent traveler in order to take advantage of all these amazing perks. And it's simply not true these days. Like, the best way to get value out of points is through your credit card, maximizing your everyday spending. And there are so many bonuses out there where you can go from 0 to 100 in almost no time by just like choosing the right credit card, bonuses, where you put your spend. Anyone can do it. We've got college kids who are flying first class to study abroad.
My question is, if a person has the discipline to live within their means, not overspend, and stay within their budget, would it be permissible, so to speak, in your system to use a credit card if it can accumulate you money? Like, I have one credit card that I've ever had that gives me 5% cash back on certain things at certain times.
Out of the 10,167 millionaires that we interviewed, not a single one said, Dave, I made all my money with my credit card points. When I started studying wealthy people, I have never found anyone that was under the illusion that they're actually winning at the credit card game. So I got out of the credit card business. I carry a debit card. And by the way, the debit card will do everything the credit card will do except accumulate these points, which we have established in the last few moments are not a wealth-building method.
When people look at their money, they also look at the available credit that they have on credit card. Then what starts to happen is they've used up all their credit limit. They are in trouble. What they don't realize is that is not an emergency savings account.
There's a card called the Curve credit card. A lot of people probably have never heard of it. But this card essentially it can host any MasterCard or Discover card. It can't do Visa or American Express, but it can host any MasterCard or Discover card. It's a credit card itself that you load credit cards onto.
And most people who start out using credit cards, they don't think they're going to be the person $30,000 in debt.
No one does. I'm going to intentionally go deeply in debt at 22% and then wonder why I'm broke. No one says that. You're right.
Everyone sees the points, they see the bonuses, and they think that they're going to be the ones that take advantage of the system. They beat the system. And yet, the system is still building skyscrapers. They're still taking people thousands of dollars in debt.
Yeah.
Tonight, I want to talk to you about dangerous advice. You heard me correctly. Advice that you hear on television about what to do with your money. And in my opinion, sometimes it is so dangerous, I can't even stand it. Now, I've talked to you about this before, but I'm going to say it again. Recently, I was watching a television show, and there were two so-called financial pundits on this show. And the question was, I have credit card debt. I have a home equity line of credit. Should I take the debt that's on my credit card? Should I put it on my home equity line of credit? And the answer to that question, which was so dangerous, was yes, you should. Now, there were cautions about it. The only caution was if you do that, just simply cut up your credit card so you don't charge on them again. That was their brilliant protective advice.
Bri, what's the best piece of money advice you have for the next generation?
Well, I'm the points guy, so it's to earn points on every single dollar you spend. The first step to this is looking at what you spend your money on. Look at your biggest expenses and say to yourself, how can I earn points on this? So if you pay rent, I recommend using the Built credit card. There's no annual fee, and you earn points for every dollar you spend in rent. Spend a lot on Uber Eats and ordering out. I like the Amex Gold card, which is 4x points for every dollar you spend on dining. You get the drift. The number one thing, though, is you must pay your bills off in full every month, because if you get hit with interest, you're going to negate the value of any of those points.
You have to know there's good debt and bad debt. And simply put, good debt makes you rich and bad debt makes you poor.
Credit card debt, everybody. Credit card debt is unsecured debt. What does that mean? That means all that's secured it was a signature when you signed for that credit card. It is not secured by a car. It is not secured by your home. It is not secured by anything. If you cannot pay credit card debt, what can the credit card company do to you? Oh, they could sue you if they wanted to. And if they won that suit, so maybe they could put a lien on your home if you had a home. Could they force you to leave that home? No. But once you sold that home, you would have to pay them. Well, get a clue, everybody. Most of you don't have any equity in your home anymore. So if you even sell that home, there's no money for them to get. So who cares about that?
Here's the superpower of PenFed.
Yeah.
If you're former military or current military, or you just have an Honors Advantage checking account, there is no annual fee on their top card. And another superpower is you don't have to be military at all. All you need is $5 to join this credit union.
A lot of people are saying, cut up your credit cards. I think that's really ridiculous because a credit card is not the problem. In fact, I love my credit cards. I don't know how anybody could get along today without a credit card. But the credit card isn't the problem. It's lack of financial education is the problem.
If you're watching this and you're not earning points on every dollar you spend, you are financing my points.
Some people aren't paying their credit cards off correctly because they don't know the difference between a statement closing date and a balance due date. What most people don't realize is that when you pay off your credit card bill, you're not paying for the things that you bought in the past month. You're paying for the things you bought in the month before that. For example, in this case, my most recent credit card statement closing date is May 21st. Meaning the payment I'm about to make is for purchases incurred from April 22nd to May 21st. The next statement period would be from May 22nd to the next closing date of June 21st. The payment due date or balance due date is usually about a month after the statement closing date, so June 18th and May 21st. This is the day by which I need to pay off all of my purchases from the last billing cycle so that I don't pay any interest on my credit card. To wrap it all up, I need to pay off all purchases made between April 22nd and May 21st by June 18th to avoid interest.
You load your credit cards onto the Curve card.
Yeah.
And like I say, any MasterCard or Discover card.
Yeah.
Now, you're familiar with the Built MasterCard.
Yep.
Well, the Built MasterCard, they have what they call rent day.
That's right.
On the first of every month, all their points are elevated and double, right?
Yep.
With the Curve card, they have this thing called Go Back in Time. where you can charge on any of those cards that you have loaded on there and essentially move them to another date and time on another card.
What?
So here's your gem.
Yeah.
You get the Built card.
Yeah.
You get the Curve card. You load your MasterCard and Discover cards onto that one. So when you run into a situation when you're buying dinner on the 20th of the month, or you're out, at a restaurant on the 16th of the month.
Yeah.
You can go into the Curve app and take that charge and move it to the first of the month on the Built card and double your points.